Hi guys, and welcome to Reading Bliss. Today I'm recording on my iPad because the camera is actually a tad better there than it is on my computer. So if my eyes keep flickering back and forth, it's because I get distracted by the things that's happening on the screen while I record. Sorry about that. Anyway, today's going to be another short booktube video, as Dewey's 24-hour read-a-thon is coming up on October 18th. For those of you not in the know, the read-a-thon is a blogger / Twitter event where people take a day out of their calendars just to sit down and read for 24 hours. I haven't actually made it through all 24 hours myself because due to time differences and me living in Denmark, it typically runs from 2 p.m. Saturday to 2 p.m. Sunday, and that is just not a period of time I'm able to stay awake. But I usually get about 12 hours reading done in those 24 hours and typically about 1,000 pages. It is such a blast. I have the best time every year. This will be my 7th year participating and I can't wait. It's awesome. Just being able to actually dedicate your time to reading and turning down all the other invitations and not feeling guilty about it because you just sit and read. This year is going to be extra special because my mom and my sister are going to be joining me. We'll be sitting here in my library, where else, and we'll just sit and read. And the others love the idea that they'll just be able to get up and take a book somewhere and they don't have to think too much about it. And I love sitting together with people doing nothing. It's one of my favourite ways of not being together with people, because I like interacting with them as well, but I love having friends, having family that I'm so comfortable together with that I can just sit and do nothing and still know that we're having a wonderful time. Anyway, since I've tried this several times before now, I've started to get a pretty good idea of which books work for read-a-thon and which don't. Well, for me anyways. For me, it's important that they are light reads, that they're short. Even though I count pages, I actually get a lot more motivation out of finishing a book than I do from reading a set number of pages in a large book. So for me, it's a lot better to read 5 200-page books than it is to read one 1,000-page book. I tend to go for young adult because light reads is the way to go for me. And if I'm not in the mood for a young adult, I'll go for essays or short stories, anything that has that's quick moving, that'll get me on to something else quickly. Most of the time it's fine, but when you get to those late hours after midnight, you really need something that you can just flow through, that doesn't require too much brain cell activity, but that will keep you interested enough not to go to sleep. So with that in mind, here are some of my suggestions for excellent Dewey reads. Of course, your mileage may vary, but this is what I've discovered works for me. First up, Tomorrow Appears. Now, I've taken Alana here because that's my favourite series. The first one I read of her, so this was my introduction to Tomorrow Appears. Her books are very, very, very readable. They're short, they're seldom, the early ones are short, seldom more than 250 pages, which I can read in 2 hours anyway. So, these, and they're easy to read several of at a time. Actually, I usually get into urges where I just go through all her books. So, and much along the same vein as Anne McCaffrey, At Least a Harper's Hall trilogy. I actually haven't read that much Pern other than these three. But Dragon Song and Dragon Singer, this is the sequel, but by far my favourite. And to an extent also Dragon Drums, which is the third one. Also very, very readable, also quick reads, 240 pages. So, also good. Early Harry Potter. I wouldn't go for the later ones. I did read the 6th and the 7th one in a day each when they came out, but that took pretty much the entire day. So unless you're a speed reader, and I know some people are, I've heard of people who read Harry Potter 6 in 4 hours. In that case, go for it. But otherwise I'd stick to the earlier ones. And A Modern Witch. obviously. I know I've been harping on about this series, but it is just wonderful. I can't say enough good things about it. And again, a quick read, so it's one you'll get through quickly, and it'll motivate you, or motivate me at least, to keep going. That was a lot of fantasy. There are also other suggestions, but just to stay somewhat in the same vein, dystopian, The Giver, again, short, quick read. Hunger Games, not quite as short. I think it's 400 and something pages. Yeah, 450 pages, which is a bit longer than I like to go for the readathon. But on the other hand, it is ridiculously readable and pretty much impossible to put down, which is also a really, really good quality for a readathon book to have. This stack is getting too high soon. Moving on to other young adults. Perks of Being a Wallflower. This would also make good readathon material. I actually typically like epistolary novels, I think is the word. Epistolary novels for readathons, again because they have these short segments that make them extremely potato chippy, because it's like, oh, just one more letter, just one more letter. So John Green would make excellent readathon material. Granted, I've only read this one and Looking for Alaska, but I really enjoyed both of them, and despite the fact that I don't have the rest as physical books but only as ebooks, I am actually considering reading Paper Towns or Abundance of Catherines for my readathon this year. I tend to prefer physical books for the readathon because, again, it's a motivation thing. I like actually being able to feel how many pages I have left, so how soon I'll be done. But I have done ebooks before and they do work. I just prefer physical ones. Joy for Beginners is another book, potato chippy book, because this is basically a collection of short stories with a theme. It's the same characters that go again in all the stories, but each chapter focuses on a separate character. I don't generally like short stories all that much, but I find it different when there's a red thread of some kind, so I like this one. And finally, just to show that it doesn't have to be fiction everything, essay collections. Brilliant, brilliant for a readathon. Again, it's the potato chip effect, just one more. But also, in the case of Ex Libris by Anne Federman, I love the meta of reading a book about books at a book event. That's just me. Other essay collections could be anything by Stephanie Pearl McPhee, The Young Harlot. What else? The Extraordinary Encyclopedia. Actually, Gretchen Rubin's Happiness Project would also be a good read. At least it was for me. Waiterand, Heads in Beds, any of those books where a professional tells about anecdotes from their life. So, but lots of books to read. My recommendation is keep it short, keep it light. If you want to read, if you're more motivated by reading long books and getting those out of the way, go for it. There's no right way to do it, only your way to do it. So I hope I'll see you on October 18th. I know, I can't wait. Bye!